Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday!
Indeed.
Yes. I'm nowhere near as good as Sam with that, even though Sam screws it up all the time.
Yeah, especially back to being Sundays. When we went to Thursdays, that was a big leap for him.
I know. It was a big leap for all of us. It did take him. I think at the time that we switched back to Sundays, he got used to Thursdays, and then it was back to Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Gosh. All right. So I tell you what, I'm like anxiously awaiting this game tonight because the way that the Devils have been playing last couple games, this 3-game winning streak is good. But I mean, the teams around us keep winning, so it's kind of, white knuckling this thing. I don't know. Tonight's going to be a big night. It's another big game. It feels like every single game we're going to say the same thing. It's going to be a big game every night from here on the way out.
I agree. And this is our first pregame show, essentially. And so we'll definitely preview the game later on. But first off, 8:15, we have a very special guest tonight.
Oh my goodness. I'm a little nervous, a little starstruck.
Yeah. We have the one and the only Arlette, the Devils national anthem singer.
That's right.
Who does a very
awesome
job at singing the national anthem every time she does it. And I read some of her story. It seems pretty cool, which, we'll go into with her of how she started singing for the Devils and a little bit of her background. So, yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be good to have her. And we'll also we definitely need to talk about how the Devils have been doing, because they've just been they've been killing it on the West. And I know last week we were a little nervous about how this West Coast swing was going to go. I think everyone was.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at that game in Nashville, I think that was the tone setter. It's easy to point to something like that and say it, but at the same time, they go into Nashville, who is on I believe a 10-game winning streak at that point, who is one of the hottest teams in the NHL, one of the best teams in the NHL. And they went toe-to-toe with them and end up, they should have won in regulation. They let up a late goal in that game with a minute and 2 seconds left, I believe. But they didn't let that get them down, and they stuck with it, and they pulled out a huge win. And then you go into Vegas, and you have another team who's one of the surprise teams of the NHL and just rolling through people. And they didn't just win; they took care of some business out in Vegas. So
they certainly did. And
then last night,
It also appears, yeah, Vegas has bounced back from that drubbing we gave them because they were winning 4-0 on the Flames when I was in the car listening to it on the radio earlier today. So they seem to have bounced back. But yeah, it's been big, and Vegas and the Kings, and now Anaheim tonight. That's going to be that Anaheim game. That's going to be something because that there's going to be some kind of an emotional twist to it as well. With Vatanen coming back, and then we're playing Henrique again, so it's like the return game, like we had when Henry came right after the trade.
Yeah,
and now we got Vatanen going home.
Yeah, definitely. And you figure they're going to give him a nice little tribute, a nice little video to say thank you for your time served in Anaheim. Real quick, I got to say what's up to my buddy George. My brother from another mother, George, who chimed in on Facebook.
What up, George?
But yeah, it's going to be tonight's. Like I said, tonight, every night is going to be a big game. The Flyers won again today, so that means even if the Devils win tonight, that means there's still a point behind them. So, and they beat the Capitals pretty convincingly. So the Flyers are a pretty dangerous team. Columbus has been on, a hot streak. And then you have to worry about the Florida Panthers who are nipping at our heels. So
yeah,
it's like one of those things. They just got to keep rolling. They got to keep going. And did they announce the starting goaltender? I've been like crazy busy all day, so I haven't had a chance to look. But
I've been looking, but all of the latest that I saw was that it was going to be Kincaid, but I have not gotten any notifications yet if that's the official starter or not for tonight. So, but originally I saw it was Snyder, and then someone else was posting that Kincaid starts. It looks like David on the group said Kincaid was starting. So there we go. There's our info.
Yeah, it's funny though because all day earlier in the day, at least, I thought that they were going to try to give Schneider the nod and goal. A back-to-back. Statistically, it's never good for goaltenders. It is Corey Schneider's birthday, but you got to ride this hot hand. I mean, you saw 38 shots in LA last night against a team that's chasing a playoff spot or trying to cling on to a playoff spot, similar to how we are. So you had a desperate team that came in who in the past have given the Devils fits, except for Kincaid. For whatever reason, he has the Kings number, which is pretty incredible.
And teams have that. Or teams. Goaltenders sometimes have that against teams. Terreri was a Bruin killer the entire time we had him.
Yeah. So, you got to ride that hot hand, and hopefully he steps up big again tonight.
Yeah, and that's the hope. And, really the back-to-back is really a good test for him to see if he can handle that. So we'll see. We'll see what he does.
NHL Network had an interesting comment today where they said, is Kincaid now the Devils' number one? And that's a fair debate. I mean, earlier in the year, if you would have told me that it would have come down to this, I would have said no. There's no way,
Yeah.
But I mean, Kincaid has been playing stellar hockey, and you got to give him credit. Like, he hasn't just been playing like a backup; he's been playing like a number one. And a lot of the saves that he's making, it's not like he's, playing against the lower rung Arizonas and teams like that. He's playing against the best in the West right now, and he's holding his own.
Yeah, you got to give the kid credit. He's been given an opportunity, and he's taking it, and he's running with it, completely running with it, which is, that's what you want. You want to get that opportunity, and he has it, so he's taking it, which is great. It's to our benefit right now because we're on this streak, and he's taking us there. I just hope it lasts. I hope he can keep it up. And to be honest, if Hines has a goaltending decision to make and a dilemma come playoff time, that's great. When you don't know who to play because they're both playing well, I know Snyder hasn't been playing well, but he is technically the starter. But if you have that situation where you have two great goaltenders and you've got to play one of them, that's better than having no goaltenders or having just one and hoping there's no injury.
You're totally right, and you nailed something on the head. Is let's hope that he has an issue with trying to choose a starter for the playoffs. Playoffs
Yeah.
being the operative word right there. You know what I mean? Like, this team, I feel like if they get into the playoffs, are going to be a handful for anybody that wants to play them. They're fast. Grabner's starting to heat up. It looks like he's starting to get put up
2
some
goals in
points
2 games.
Dude, and that shorthanded goal he had against LA was exactly the reason why the Devils brought him over. It was just showcasing his speed. It was, a perfectly timed, breaking up of the play. Comes in and just, if you watch him coming in on that play, it's like he's so fast. It just blows my mind. He gets on his edges and he's just cruising and he just like flips it up, And that was like, as soon as he scored, I was like, that's why the Devils got him.
Yeah. And it took him a while, and it does take, time for players to adjust to a new team. And it took him until this past week to finally, it looks like he's finding his groove. And let's hope that he just continues with this groove and he, starts doing really well for us.
Yeah. And to answer Robert's question, one would assume yes, unless there's some kind of like special occasion or special person that they would like to bring in. But I mean, he asked if Arlette was going to be singing if and when the Devils make the playoffs. Will she be singing at every home game? So my assumption would be yes, unless
Yeah, that's my assumption too. I know the Devils have tended to switch it up. Maybe that's because of scheduling. Who knows? We're not there in those meetings, but that would be great.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting to have Arlette on tonight. It's going to be it's going to be very interesting. I know you said you got a chance to like read her backstory and kind of like get a taste of where she's coming from, which I think is awesome. We're going to be able to possibly see how she got into being the Devils. If for those of us that don't know, how she became the Devils kind of like official anthem, I guess singer, and it's cool. It's just like I said, I'm a little nervous. Like it's but you have to understand. Like we both get it, and I guess like every Devils fan gets it because when you have somebody like Arlette, it's like meeting a rock star.
Yeah, which I at least have a little bit of the advantage here. I got to meet her at Sam's wedding. She was very, very nice. She sang at the wedding, which we've all seen on the introduction. For this is episode 22, 23. So we've seen it 20 times over, 20 plus times over. And she was very awesome when I met her. Very, very nice. So, she was, she'll probably be very easy to talk to. And her backstory is great. If everyone goes to singarletsing.com, it's got her backstory there. If you want to check it out before she comes on, it's a pretty cool story. Singing was not going to be her first choice, which is pretty cool. I definitely want to ask her about that.
Yeah.
So it'll be a fun conversation, that's for sure. And I just got the update from Sam. She's coming on in about 5-ish minutes or so.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll have her on in about 5 minutes. So until then, let's continue talking about the play of the Devils in the last couple games. Playoffs. I actually, I was out last night in the city to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, which I see you're wearing green as well.
Yes, sir.
Very
my St. Patty's Day jersey.
It yesterday seems to be a really great holiday for a man of your name. It's the perfect holiday for your nickname.
Yes, yes, I know. It's funny. I usually this pre-children. That was one of my favorite holidays, and it was always fun to go to the Devils game that was either on or around St. Patrick's
Red and Green
Day.
game.
Yeah,
and for the last couple of years, it was the Red and Green game, and I've got to say, I celebrated harder on the Red and Green game day than on St. Patrick's Day. And this year I feel slightly lost without a Red and Green game. I do. I hate the fact.
Yeah, but I think next year they might bring that back. I think Adidas, their main, because they didn't give anybody a third or alternate jersey this year. So I think their thing was they wanted to just roll out the regular jerseys, and then next season I think they're going to add in an alternate, which you would only assume that the Devils are going to go back with the retro, but you never know.
Yeah, you definitely never know. Uh-oh. We're getting a phone call. I wonder if Sam knows that's live. We should probably ask him.
Yeah, right?
All right, we're checking in on that. Are we ordering maybe, I don't know what we're getting.
Yeah, how funny would it be if it's just Sam ordering this?
Yeah, right?
Calling up, extra pepperoni and put some
Yeah, right.
on.
Oh. All right. Sam may have gotten the message. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just ordering some food. You never know.
But it's so funny you bring that up about the red and green games. There's a lot of those games that I don't really remember because, like you said, and it's also my one of my best friends. His birthday's today, actually.
Okay.
So it was always like his birthday game / St. Patty's Day / like just get blackout drunk and obliterated, and then like halfway through the game, like there was a few games where I fell asleep in my seat and did one of these like boom, and you pop up and you're like, oh my god, it's the third period. Okay, I'm gonna pay attention. But yeah, some pretty fun times. But yeah, I from what I understand, next year they're gonna bring back the alternates. So if they do the red and green, that'd be awesome. But I also heard a very slight rumor that they might do like the all black.
Oh,
the all black Devils jersey, which would be kind of cool to see too.
Yeah, an all black jersey would be pretty cool. I've seen them. I forget who made them a couple years back, but you do see them around the arena. That would be pretty cool. All black jerseys with red numbers would be pretty sweet. So we'll see. Hey, doesn't mean we only need to have one alternate jersey. Maybe we can have the retro for retro red and green day, and then we can have a black one for all black red or red trim or something for actually like a true alternate, which we've never had. We've never had a true alternate other than when they brought back the red and green,
which was a super stretch for Lou to do. I remember, he was totally against bringing back any type of alternate jersey or retro jersey and stuff like that, and then he finally kind of like broke down and was like, all right, fine, we'll bring back the retro one. I would love to see, maybe that I have an Elias jersey, which is like the all black with the black logo. It's just a slick looking jersey. But I have to ask, because I know we talked about this like really early in the season. I think we talked about it before the season started. If they were to change the Devils jersey, keep the logo the same, but go back to the green and red, similar to like the color of your shirt that you're wearing.
Yeah, like that deep forest green.
Yeah.
What did you ask what I would think about it?
Would you be down for that, or are you like strictly black and red?
No, I would definitely be down for it. If they went back to the red and green, I love those jerseys. What about you?
The red helmet.
Yeah.
I think it would look nice. I mean, actually, this year before the season started, when there's all those rumors that they're changing the jerseys and everybody freaked out because they're like, "Oh my god, like what are they going to do?" And then there's people like, "They better not go back to the red and green." If they do the red and green right, like they use that dark green.
Yeah.
Hold on, I have to introduce you to someone. This is my daughter.
There we go.
Oh, she's shy.
I see that. Well, Let's Go Devils podcast first.
Did you say "Let's Go Devils"? You say "Let's Go Devils"? No, are you being shy? Okay.
She'll say it off camera.
Yeah, exactly. She'll say it like as she's running away.
That's cool.
All right. Sorry about that.
There we go. No apologies. It's a family show. You can have the family on.
It is. Oh, she's. Hold on 1 second.
Wait, now she's back.
I'll be right back.
All right, so Beer Baron has stepped away. He's got to deal with he's got his little daughter running around, which is pretty cool. There's Sam in the background. No, Sam, it's cool. You know what, Sam? I know you can hear me. It's cool. That's the generation of fans that's going to be loving this team.
Dang straight. She didn't say no because she's a little shy, but then as soon as I walked her away, she goes, "Let's go Devils," and I'm like, "You could have said that 2 seconds ago."
Whatever, it's cool.
That's funny. And now she's
Hey,
yelling my name.
At least she's growing up red and black and not blue.
You got that right. It's so funny in her
Yeah.
preschool. I'll see like little kids running around with Ranger shirts, and I'm like, you're not allowed to be friends with those kids. Like, don't associate that.
My little brother lives up in upstate New York, and it's big Buffalo territory up there, but there are a lot of Ranger fans as well. And it was my niece's wear sports stuff to school. So I've already purchased her all Devils and Red Bulls and given her, stuff. And she had Devils and Red Bull stuff on going into sports day, which I thought was pretty cool. So
that's awesome.
My brother is raising her right, and I know he'll raise number 2, the new little one, just as correctly as he's raising the first Brielle. So
yeah, dude,
it'll be good.
I have another one on the way that should be here in about 2 weeks. And it's the same thing. Like when my first daughter, when she was born, I actually wore a Devils jersey in the delivery room. So I plan on doing the same. Yeah, I plan on doing the same thing this time. It's kind of like they have no choice. They're born into this, and that's it. And that's how it was when I was a kid. I was born into being a Yankees fan. I had no choice in that matter.
Oh yeah. And, well, like from father to son, father to daughter, all the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I did not do that. My dad grew up. Now there's going to be a disclaimer with this story. My dad grew up in the era of the original 6.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my dad grew up listening to Ranger games on the radio.
Yep.
So the only local team was the Rangers. So my dad grew up listening to the Rangers. Not a huge hockey fan, but my grandmother was, and she was a Ranger fan. She went to games at the Garden, when she was a kid, years ago. So anyway, I did not take up that tradition because when I was old enough to be aware that there was a local team, I went with the local team. The only New Jersey sports team, the only full New Jersey sports team, I should say. So yeah, that's where I get mine from.
I was born in '82. Devils came to Jersey in '82. My old man, wasn't really big in hockey, but actually followed the Canadiens because of my last name is French Canadian, so he always had a love for the Montreal Canadiens. And once the Devils came to the state, that was it. It was like, now that we have our own team, he started liking the Devils, and that was another team that I was kind of like born into. I have to give all the credit in the world to my brother, though. Like my older brother is the reason why I'm a diehard Devils fan. Bringing me to games in like '95 when he's 6 years older. So he was like 18 and I was like a 12-year-old kid hanging out with my brother. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, dude, it's like crazy to see where like fandom comes from, and like, something I have to bring up on our podcast. And I know we're going way off the rails, as we normally do.
Yeah, right.
You often send me videos of soccer games, or not even soccer games, of like practices, and it is the most intense thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm not into soccer, and I keep saying, I'm like, you have to find a way to get me into soccer. I want to go to one of these practices because it's like, dude, it looks like playoff hockey atmosphere for a freaking practice, and I can't get over that. There's like road flares, there's like chanting and pumping.
That's Europe, man. They do that crazy stuff in Europe. They unfortunately, we've only had flares inside the stadium once, and that was away at DC last October, and that resulted in a little bit of trouble. So we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, that's that right there is because we got to think about it. You mentioned the Devils came in '82. You're born '82. I'm born '82. So we're the same age as the Devils, which is pretty awesome in its own fact. However, you got to remember the Devils are still a young franchise.
Oh yeah.
The Rangers are an original 6 team, and we'll actually have to pick this conversation up later because I believe we're about to have Arlette join us.
Yes.
Arlette, how you doing? This is Shorts Guy and Beer Baron. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I am doing good.
I'm hearing two voices here. Yes?
Yes. I am Shorts Guy.
And I'm Beer Baron.
The other voice is Beer Baron.
Is who?
It's the.
I'm not hearing you so well.
They call me the Beer Baron, but you can call me Scott. It's okay.
All right. I think I'll call you Scott.
It's much easier.
So, Arlette, how are you? You doing well?
I'm doing well. I can't complain right now. I can't complain. Things are going well, and yeah. Happy to be here. Happy to be chatting with you guys because I love my doubles.
Yeah, definitely. And we're so happy to have you on. This is great. This is
Thank you.
You've been the Devil's Anthem singer for over 20 years now, right?
I've been there for quite some time. Yes, we'll just say over 20 years because I think it could be a lot more than that. But let's just say about 20 years now. Yeah, it's an awesome thing, and just to see all the changes and just actually being very excited now for the team that we have.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know. Maybe you can tell our listeners a little bit about how you got. I guess I was reading on your website. It was kind of a random chance that you got the opportunity to sing for the Devils.
Yeah, it was pretty random. It was one of those things. I used to sing at this restaurant in the city, and it was right on 2nd Avenue. And I used to sing right by the windows together with my ex-husband. We used to sing together, and it was right by the windows. I think the doors were open. Yes, it was like right by the open doors, leading onto the streets, and we would be singing, and people passers-by would hear us sing. And one night, one of the passers-by was Lula Morello and his friends. They were walking down the street. They came in, and they were listening to our music, and and they just came by every so often when they had a free night, and we became friends. And one day Lou was like, "Hey, so Arlette, I'm sort of involved with this team, like real humble like that, real involved with this team, and why don't you come sing the anthem one night?" And I had no idea about hockey. I really didn't even know who he was, beyond just being a really nice client that used to come to the restaurant. And sent the limo, I sang the anthem, and it was just the most amazing experience. And I just kept asking me back. And at one point, like after, I was saying maybe about a year or so after, they asked if I wanted to become the official anthem singer. And the rest is history. So that was in the 90s. That was a while ago.
So I have a quick question to you. Now, you've been doing this for quite some time. Do you still get nervous in front of certain crowds? Like, is there any events that the Devils have or any games in particular that you get nervous to sing before them?
I mean, playoffs, there's always that extra energy, that extra excitement, that extra spark. Everyone's so excited. So I do feel that too. But generally, listen, I've done this like maybe 3,000 times now, so I'm really comfortable. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to forget the words or anything like that. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortable about it. As long as like I'm kind of focused. Like I need to focus like a couple minutes before, because sometimes I'm chatting, and then they're like, "Okay, and here's Arlette," and I'm like, "Whoa!" And then I feel the butterflies. But once I'm focused, I'm good. I'm used to it now. And then Devils fans are always so warm and just so great to me. So I feel at home there.
That's awesome. And I was reading your story earlier. Singing was not what your first choice of career was going to be.
No,
I saw you wanted to own a pharmacy.
As you hear, I have my accent. I'm actually from Trinidad, and I came to New York to study. So it was, I used to sing a little bit back home, but that wasn't what my plan was. I came to study, and I actually came to study chemistry, which is the craziest thing. So I'm a chemist. But yeah, so I when I was in college, I just started to sing with this wedding band, just, to make ends meet, to help pay the bills or whatever. And I started to do that. And then I met Luigi, who I started to work together with. And then we eventually got married. And I just stayed in the profession of singing. Thank God, because I would not have been a really good chemist. I'm really glad I decided to sing instead. It's pretty awesome.
Well, we're definitely happy you decided to stay singing, because you're always such a great anthem singer when you when you sing the anthem before the Devils games. It's always great, and you can definitely tell that you put a lot of passion into it, which is awesome.
I do. I feel like it's an honor to be able to sing such a song. It's first of all, it's a great musically. It's such a great song to sing, and then the meaning behind it. It's the anthem of our country. I mean, I'm American now through and through. And it's an honor for me to be able to be the one to sing this, every night for the Devils. Is wonderful, or at least almost every night. And so I'm certainly glad that I went on the path of singing, and I'm certainly glad to be a part of the Devils team. It's great.
So, what do you think of the way the team's currently playing out west? Are you able to do you follow the team all the way through, or?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a hockey expert, but we're looking pretty good. Really hoping for our playoff spot. And that's it. I'm feeling good about the team. Even if maybe I don't know if we're going to make it or not. Let's just be realistic, but definitely coming on to next season, and I like what's happening now. And we kind of missed being excited about our team for the past few years. It's really good to be in this position that we are now.
Now, do you have any are you friends with any of the players? And if so, who would you say is your favorite player to be around, either past?
When we were making our playoffs every year, and we had that solid team. The Scott Stevens and Brodeur and Ken Danico. I was more, and Patrick Eliash. Well, him too. I was more. I would say I was friends with them. I wouldn't go hang out with them, but a little more of a relationship. Right now, everyone's new and kind of young, and but all very sweet, very polite. My favorite, gosh, I don't know. I like how Taylor Hall is playing. I like my Nico. I don't know. I mean, I'm just a fan like everybody else.
It's pretty cool too. We also you're the one that brings our show in every week, and we use you as our anthem for the show. And it's kind of
wonderful. Thank you.
It's such an honor and a privilege to actually be able to talk to you. Being in the stands and seeing you sing the anthem so many times, and usually yelling out Arlette, when you're getting ready to sing. It's
Are you the one yelling out? Do you usually yell out too?
Always. Well, if I'm there, I'm usually the one. Yeah. But
good. Make sure you're there. I like that.
As a fan, we can't thank you enough. For all that you've done, and for singing the anthem, and just bringing that passion to it every single time. And like we're saying before, we as a fan base absolutely love and adore you, and you mean so much to us, and we can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to hear you say that. I'm always humbled and overwhelmed by just the response from Devils fans. I mean, I feel the love, and I really appreciate it, and it is reciprocated 100%.
So, Arlette, I've got, what might be an odd question. I know like all the players have rivalries against each other, and they know the other players. Do you know any of the other anthem singers for any of the other teams? Have you ever met them, run into them, or anything like that?
I have not met them. No, I haven't met them. I mean, years ago, Stan Fisher and Chico, they wrote a book together called the best. I can't remember the name of the book, but just talking about the teams in our area, like the Islanders, Rangers, the Devils, the rivalry between them, and they compared a lot of the similarities between the teams and differences, and they compared the anthem singers too. So I was featured in that book as well. I just remember that time. But right now, I've never actually met anyone. I know the Rangers singer is no longer there, I think, right? Amarante. I think he's retired, I think, or not too sure. So it's changed, but I'm still here, so that's good.
Yeah, we're happy to still have you here.
I'm glad to still be here.
Now, is there any game
I'm one
or
of
any night?
I'm one of the pillars, right? Of everything's changing, but hopefully, Arlette's gonna still. I'm gonna do this for as long as they will have me, most definitely.
100%.
And when Lou, when he was there, it was. I was kind of, after he left, I didn't know whether or not, how it would be, how they would react, but it's just been the same. They just always, the Devils organization just still roll out that red carpet for me and just really treat me just really special, and it's wonderful.
Well, I'll tell you, if they ever said, we're going to move on, I think the fans would riot. So I think you're safe until for a very, very long time.
I don't know if they would riot, but I hope that someone would say something. That would be
we
good.
definitely would. That's for sure.
I know Sam would say something. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yes, he definitely would.
Yes.
Sam would definitely say something.
I sang at his wedding. Do you know that?
Yes, yes.
I was at Sam's wedding. There was yes, and
wedding.
that wedding was so much fun.
Themed wedding.
Yes, and I was part of that. I was part of that loud raucous table that was over to the side, which coincidentally we were closest to the door. Yeah, we were the ones that were screaming Arlette and had the horn. Yeah, that was my table.
Yeah. What an interesting wedding. I didn't know what to expect when I was asked to come sing the anthem at a wedding in my Devil's shirt, But that's a true fan for you. And actually the whole room was just full of true fans. I felt like it was at a game. I felt really at home. It was wonderful.
Actually, Arlette, funny you say that. That's part of our intro is you singing the anthem from Sam's wedding. And we hear that every week. Every week before the show starts, that's what you said at the wedding, and that's what we hear is that it sounds like you're at a game at this wedding, which is awesome.
Oh. Yeah, I did mention that, right? I actually said it. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. I'm going to have to listen to the beginning of your podcast again so that I could hear myself singing the anthem.
Absolutely. Sam just gave us a little bit of information here. He said that the Devils had a focus group meeting. And unfortunately, Devils fans can't agree on a lot. But the one thing that the Devils fans agreed on in this meeting was to have you as the national anthem singer.
Wow. When did this happen? I'm so glad I heard about this. I didn't even know. This is awesome. Thank you.
I want to say that this meeting either happened. It happened in this past April, so almost a year ago.
Oh, a year ago this was. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's wonderful. That's great.
So, aside from the Devils, what else do you do as far as singing?
Well, singing is my full-time job. This is all I do. So I'm on the weekends, on Friday nights and Saturday nights, I'm at a restaurant in Staten Island called Angelina's. So you can always come out. Beautiful restaurant, lovely food, and the entertainment is me. I think it's pretty good. So I do that, and I do the private parties, and I do the weddings, and I just do. I'm an entertainer. So this is what I do outside of singing the anthem. I do actually sing other things besides the anthem, actually.
That's pretty awesome. Kind of a silly side story. My dad was actually in a wedding band to do the same thing that you did, to help pay the bills.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a drummer, and he had the smallest car. He had a VW Beetle.
Oh God. That's awesome. It's a great life. Yes.
Yeah, and he tells all kinds of stories about how much fun he had in that band, and
Yeah.
they would be at weddings from different weddings from the same family. Like they would just keep hiring the same, his band. So he said he got to know people, and he said it was just such a fun time.
Yeah, it's great. I always say that. I said, I don't. Thank God I don't have a real job. It doesn't feel like a real job. I've heard that if you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life, and it really is true.
True.
I'm just blessed to be able to do what I love for a living. It's wonderful.
That is true. Now, I was just thinking about this. It's so funny because, like you said before, you've sang the anthem so many times that it just comes naturally, and You know, you don't really get nervous anymore. Is there any game or any moment that really stands out to you as being not maybe the most important, but maybe something that like there's something that happened that that you remember the most?
Well, I've had a couple of interesting things. I mean, when we won the Stanley Cup, I can't remember if it was in '03. I can't remember which time that we won the cup when we were at home. And I mean, singing for that particular game when we won that day, that was really pretty special and pretty awesome. I was able to go on the ice and just celebrate with the team and just be in the center with the cup. It was awesome. That was a great memory. Another great memory I have is when I actually didn't have my voice that day. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to go, you know, it was the last minute. I just lost my voice at the last minute. And I went on the mic and I said, listen, guys, I do not have a voice tonight. You're all going to have to help me to sing. And the whole stadium sang the anthem. And that was,
that's awesome.
I mean, the whole arena sang the anthem. It was amazing. So that was a great moment too. I'm sure I have a couple of them if I think about it, but those two are coming to mind right now.
That is so cool.
That
must have given
definitely cool
to hear the whole.
Yes, it was so special. I mean, everyone sang. You know, I feel like it should always be like that. You know, it shouldn't really be about the singer. It should be about the song, and it should just be about, you know, just everybody participating. You know, so sing along with me when you're in the arena. Sing along. I would love that.
I try to sing along, but I'm probably about one of the farthest opposite corners from where you sing, so there's not a chance you would ever even hear me from way up there.
Oh, I hear you. All right. Well, I'll just know it in my heart today, okay?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely singing along whenever I'm there.
Great.
You're gonna have to talk to Sam at some point because he actually is looking to have you sing the national anthem for us when we have a. We're gonna try to do a live show. I'm gonna let you and Sam work these details out, but I just want to give you the heads up. He wants to try to get you to sing the national anthem before our first live show. So you guys can talk about that.
I'll be there.
But that would be, you know what? I would definitely, you know, see it as a big honor if you were to sing for us at our show.
That would be my honor to do that. So you guys are great. I definitely would be there.
That is awesome. And it looks like we lost Beer Baron. I can't hear him on his microphone anymore. Let's see if he's coming back. Beer Baron, you there again?
Yeah,
there you are.
Oh.
Yes. All right. Sorry about that. Beer Baron, you had a question there or no?
No. I was just saying, if you know, when we do have the live show, that's going to be the icing on the cake, and I might faint when you walk into the room. So.
Oh,
just
thank
bring some
you.
smelling salt.
That would be great. Thank you.
So, all right, Arlette, we have to get going because we have to start talking about the game. It's starting in 15 minutes, but we want to thank you so very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
It's
and you know what?
Truly an honor.
Let's do this.
Yes, it's truly been an honor to have a conversation with you tonight. So definitely thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. You have a great night.
You're welcome. You have a great night, too. And let's go Devils.
Thank you. Yes, let's go Devils. Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, Beer Baron, it was pretty cool, huh?
Dude, that was the highlight for me because I wasn't on the episode that you got to talk to Grant Marshall. So that was the highlight for me for the podcast so far. That was incredible. That's really
there
really
we
cool.
go. Yeah, no, that was definitely cool. But like I just said, we should this is one of the first podcasts we have actually a hard end time for. We have to discuss the game that starts in 15 minutes. Actually, no, it's let me find my time here. 14 minutes.
It's about 14 minutes. You know, I'm after talking to Arlette, dude, I'm so fired up right now for this game. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I just my biggest thing about tonight is, like we said earlier in the podcast, you know, there's going to be an emotional lift to the game because you got to figure they're going to give Sami Vatanen some kind of love. That'd be weird if they didn't. You know, seeing Adam Henrique again, the Ducks are they're chasing a playoff spot right now, so they're in the same position as the Devils. You know, the West. You think the Metro Division is tight? They showed the stats last night. The Kings have 84 points. The Avalanche have 84 points. The Ducks have 84 points, and then somebody else had 84 points. And the Ducks, I think, were the team on the outside looking in. And that was as of last night. I don't know if anything has changed since last night because, like I said, my Sundays. It's a very busy man, so I'm running around everywhere.
Yeah. Let me look. I'm gonna actually look that up right now. I'll tell you what, the league this year, it's so tight all over the place for these playoffs. It's actually there's no runaway. I mean, no real true runaway. I mean, the closest you can call to a runaway is maybe Tampa Bay. And I know that the first to clinch is Nashville. They're on 75 points. Let's see. Yeah, Nashville's on 75.
You know what's crazy though? It's like, even though there's all these teams that are so super close and there's so much parity in the NHL, I think that's one of the best things about the NHL, the best things about hockey. And even though Tampa Bay is like a monster right now and putting up, a ton of points, you get them against a team that's just hot at the right time, and a team that's, coming into the playoffs that just had to fight their tail off to get in and not sitting back and resting on their laurels like maybe Tampa Bay is. And then all of a sudden the tables, are things that are a little bit shifted. It's not like the NBA where you have, the Golden State Warriors who will just roll through the first 2 or 3 rounds to get to the championship. It's not like anything else. It's just there's so much parity and there's so many teams that you see win the President's Cup how many years, or the President's Trophy rather, and like Washington Capitals and can't get out of the first round. You know what I mean?
I know.
So
it's almost like you don't want to win that trophy. Yeah, and all you have to do is be, in the tournament, because that's all the playoffs are, is just a tournament. All you have to do is be in that tournament, and you have a chance. And that's the crazy cool thing, is you get in a tournament and you have a chance.
Yeah, and look at Ottawa last year. Look at how close they came to making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. You know what I mean? Like,
and then look at them this year. They're terrible.
They're a dumpster fire, but which is fine because
I know
they're one of those teams that always scared me. When they're good, they're like scary good. But I mean, it's just like you said. This is my favorite time of year. The weather starts to get warm. Playoff hockey, even like when the Devils are not in it, it's the only playoffs that I will religiously watch. I mean, outside of football, because that's one game, so it's not like it's not like a whole series. But like baseball, if the Yankees
it's easy to watch.
I don't really care. If basketball, I don't even watch. Like it's like you watch playoff hockey because you see guys go out there and lay it on the line. You know what I mean? Like they'll take a $150 across the face and go and get stitched up on the bench and jump right back out there.
Yeah, it's a special kind of playoffs, and you have guys, like you just said, will get stitched up, right on the bench. We'll have, emergency surgery. I remember Matt Sundin a bunch of years back had emergency surgery to have his ankle bolted together essentially with metal plates just so he can keep playing in the playoffs.
Isn't that
nuts? This is just it's nuts, and that's just the sport. And it's been such a long 5 years not being involved in this tournament that I'm really hoping that the Devils are able to to pull it off. And I've got to be honest. I said something yesterday. I was out with some friends in the city, and there was a commercial for an upcoming Rangers game, which I believe they're playing Columbus. And I turned to a friend of mine who was wearing this really ugly Rangers jersey, green ugly Rangers jersey. And I told him, I need you guys to win on Tuesday. And I don't think I've ever said such an awful thing in my life.
Playoff hockey will make you do weird things, man.
I know. However, we definitely, if the Rangers can beat Columbus, that'll definitely be a big help. But then again, though, the Rangers on 57 points, it's not like they're far behind either. It's a stressful time of year.
It is. And if you don't think it's affecting the players, go back to that Nashville game during that shootout and look at the reaction of Kyle Palmieri and Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall was like buried underneath the bench, sitting next to Stefan Nason and I think and Patrick Maroon, and he was just ducked down all the way down, like head between his knees, because he was probably praying, that they come out with a victory. And Kyle Palmieri just sitting there going, "Come on, Keith, come on, Keith." Like you could see how invested this team is, how much they want it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just such a scrappy, fun team to watch. Blake Coleman, Gibbons coming back, I think has brought a spark back into the team that they were feeling in the beginning of the year. Guys like Grabner are starting to heat up. Dude, I'm so fired up for this game right now. Like I literally can run through a wall.
And really quickly, looking at the standings now, I'm looking at this through the NHL app, so I'm not 100% sure if this is completely up to date right now. But we need 2 points to maintain our first. Actually, no. If these standings are correct, which I don't know if they're updated very, very often, or if they're updated the other night. Okay, so I don't know if they're still on 63, or if they moved to 65 points, but we have 62 because we have yet to play today. So 62 points. We get another 64. Fine. We've now widened the gap on both Carolina, who's in the right now in the last wild card spot, and Columbus, who's nipping their heels, also tied with the Islanders with 60 points, Rangers with 57, and then Florida with 52, not far behind and playing well. On the western side, the Ducks are in desperate need of these 2 points today.
Wait a second,
because they're on 6.
Wait, hold on. Your information is a little off.
I'm looking at the app up.
Yeah, because we have 82 points right now, not 65. So it might be a little off. So right now,
yeah, I guess it is off. My app wasn't working all night.
Yeah.
All right, so give me the updated.
Updated right now, as of right now, so we have the Devils holding the second wild card position. They're 5 points ahead of Florida. Columbus has the first wild card spot with 83 points. We have 82 points. Philadelphia won today, so they're at 85 points in third in the Metro Division. And then Pittsburgh has 87. Washington has 89. So realistically, the Devils are 3 points out of third place in the wild card, or in the Metro Division, which is crazy because before yesterday when they beat the Kings, they jumped up into that third position, and then by the end of the night they were back into the second wild card spot. So that's showing you how fast all these things can fluctuate. You know what I mean? So they need 2 points tonight. If they get 2 points tonight, they'll jump back into that first wild card spot. They'll put them 7 points up over Florida. And that's really where the key is.
Yeah.
The key is, you could jockey for position in those last 3 spots, because I don't know if they're going to be able to catch. They might be able to catch Pittsburgh because they're only 5 points out. But I mean, you don't know if they're going to be able to jump into that second spot or into the middle tier of the Metro Division. So you just got to keep the team that is below you, that is out of the playoffs, exactly where they are. You know what I mean? You don't want anybody catching up to you, because right now we're 10 points ahead of the Rangers, 9 points ahead of the Carolina, and then only, like I said, 5 points ahead of above Florida.
Yeah.
Huge 2 points every game.
Yeah, and you know what? My apologies. My apologies on all those wrong stats. I should have looked. My Devils app, which was not working at all last night, has us at 54 games played.
Yeah, it's off
That's
by like
so
almost
far
20.
off. So I don't know what's going on with this thing. Yeah. Which my apologies. Anyway, I should have realized that. Thank you for saving me on that one. I feel like a real idiot.
No.
What do the Ducks have point wise? Now that I know that my information is useless.
Let's take a look. In the West, like I said, it's like crazy tight. So You have the Kings who have 84 points. You have Colorado who has 86. So the Kings hold the
Right.
third position in the Pacific, right? Then you have Colorado at 86 points. You have who holds the first wild card spot. You have Dallas with 84, who holds the last playoff spot. And then you have the Ducks, who are sitting right at the edge with 84 points too. So the Ducks are out of the playoffs as of right now, but they're tied with Dallas and they're tied with LA.
Okay.
So I mean, it's crazy. Like they're in the same position, so you know they're going to be fighting hard too. It's a dangerous team. It's a dangerous team.
Oh, very dangerous team.
But you know what? So are the Ducks.
I would like both points. I know. I would love both points in regulation, but this is one of those situations where if we eke out the 2 points in a shootout win, it doesn't work against us. We're like giving one of those points to, let's say Carolina or Columbus or Philly or something like that. So I'll take 2 points in any way, shape, or form that we can get 2 points tonight.
A win's a win's a win's a win. You know what I mean? Like this is one of those games that they just, who cares how they get it, just get it, and that's it. And like you said, if they
absolutely.
If they go into overtime and gut it out, like who cares? Like at the end of the day, they're in a position where they need to get 2 points, and then they have to go into the next game, and I guarantee you they're going to be in the same spot.
Yeah,
you need to get another 2, and I know it's like easier said than done, and I know it's like you're playing against teams that are, statistically on paper, the Anaheim Ducks are better than the Devils. Points wise, they're better than the Devils.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a better division. They're in a better conference. Go out there and do what you're doing. And we said this, I think 2 weeks ago, when the Devils were going on this West Coast swing, or a week ago. You rather have your team going into the playoffs beating good teams than going into the playoffs playing a bunch of scrubs.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like I rather go into get into a playoff position knowing that we just went against the best in the West and put up points in every single game. Because then you're getting yourself
I agree. And exactly. And by having to earn this, even if it's the final spot, I don't care. But having to earn this spot into the playoffs you would hope, mean a whole lot more than just, having a huge lead going into the, like the final week of the season and kind of coasting, because then coaching staff's looking to possibly resting players, and then you can just fall out of your groove so quickly. I mean, you see that even after the first, second rounds, or any round in the playoff, if anyone destroys whoever they're playing in a sweep and wind up, having all that time off and they just lose all that momentum. The only possible downside is a burnout situation where maybe getting a little too burnt out going into it.
Yeah, and we've seen that happen with
Devils. But these guys are young, so hopefully they'll be fine.
Yeah, and you got to think that you're getting a reinvigorated, re-energized Taylor Hall going into these playoffs. You're getting a guy that has been wanting this his entire NHL career, which hasn't been long, but long enough for him to be, chomping at the bit to get into the playoffs. You have guys that have tasted the playoffs before who know what it's about, Boyle and Vatanen and all these guys. So, they want to get into the playoffs again. You got new guys coming in that want a taste of this, like Nico and Butcher. It's 9:01, man. It's go time now.
I know. And, and you have John Hines, who's been coaching through all of this last couple seasons with the system. And this is the reward, is finally getting in the playoffs.
There you go. Trust the process. Trust the process and just go.
Exactly.
All right,
and I see we're ditching our normal outro music to hear Arlette singing. Beer Baron, any last words before we go?
Huge thank you to Arlette for coming on tonight. That was such an honor and a privilege to be able to talk to her from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for coming on. Let's get these 2 points tonight, man.
You know, I agree. I echo you. Thank you so much, Arlette. She was awesome. She was such a great interview. Awesome person to meet. And everyone, turn us off and turn on the game because it's currently 9:02. Let's go, Devils.